across your screen, Utayona. But in case you're just joining us, welcome, welcome. If you're back with us from the break, welcome. My name is Mariam Bishar, of course, alongside Eric Latif and Janet Mbogwa and the amazing Shallet Kibet, discussing how work, mambo ni mengi, muda ni mchache.
Kamsa.
But the fact that we've had to be activists, all of us, by force, by fire, whether we want to or not, is an encouraging thing, because then it means we're active participants in our democracy, we're thinking through, we're engaged, we're not just passive, people who are receiving all of these things, right?
Yes.
What pushback do you get that surprises you as far as, the thing that you would not expect, and from the person you wouldn't expect?
Yes. Number one is, I think, first, I want to put this in a very good and proper way.
Okay.
Number one is, I think one of the major, not major, but I think when you have a thick skin, it's rare for you to have a pushback. But one of the greatest pushback I get most of the time is, let's say you create a video on particular topic or particular way, some might think you're paid by the government itself. And you're like, bro, if I was being paid, I wouldn't even be here, And I think that's one of the major things. I think now people are doubting each other a little bit, and they're like, okay, uko side gani, uko show, uko side yetu. Or I remember when I posted a letter to the president, people were arguing what tribe I was. And some were saying, uya takusikiza juu wamesikia my name is Kibet. Or some, even before watching the video, they're like, apana, nyinyi wa Kikuyu. And I'm like, hey.
But and I have to be the bad guy here and ask, what do you think your price is? If Shallet in 2027 is somewhere doing comms for Amheshimiwa somewhere, is there a price for that? Okay,
now, the people who are watching, I want you to hear me very well. As I stated earlier, is that my life has been surrendered to Christ. And I know you have heard these politicians going on to church and taking the pulpit with a microphone and saying, Bwana asifiwe, and, having cash from corruption. But I just want to emphasize on this. When the Lord has completely dealt with your heart and has completely burdened you with such a situation like this, I don't think that my heart, but let me just tell you the truth. Human beings, naturally, our flesh will always want, let's say we make 4 billion. You've never seen even one, right? Who are you not to take that 4 billion, right? I understand that's human flesh, that's humanness in itself. But I think for me, the Lord has worked with my heart so much, because I remember even last year, some people approached me, they're like, Shallet, why don't you talk about this topic and we're going to pay this amount of money? And I said, bro, I'm not for sale. And if anyone wants to buy me, let me just tell you that I am not for sale, because what burns in me is just beyond numbers, because I think I have seen both worlds of people living in poverty and people living in money, and we can't be in the same nation saying that we love Kenya, and you see such discrepancies and then say you have a price.
Excuse me, teacher. What do you mean when you say you're not for sale? What exactly are you talking about? Because even Mariam asked, so in 2027, let's say you're working for a certain politician, and you believe in their cause, and so you go in there and you want to help in their communication. Is that being bought?
So, because I believe everyone needs to be an active citizen, right? So I hope when you're watching, even for those who have not yet turned 18, and if you turn 18, you take your vote and you go vote to 27. Now, for me, if I do believe this candidate is full of integrity and is a man or woman who is, I believe the values that I see in him are aligning with what I agree with, I will not mind coming along and saying, hey, dear Kenyans, this is the person that my heart is saying. But I'm not pushing you to, I'm not forcing you to vote for this person. I'm addressing and saying this is the person that my values and my being in itself is literally pushing to this person.
I don't think it's the same as being bought.
So is that being bought?
I don't think it's the same.
So what is being bought? You tell me.
I think being bought is, it sounds like it's been co-opted. Being bought means I want to, in order for me to silence the agency of these guys, I want to slip 300K, a million, so that they can, I call it editing yourself down. I think that's being bought. If you see somebody of integrity that you believe can add value to the country, and you say, I want to collaborate with this person, there's going to be a fee for it because Shallet is maybe an advisor or she's running, then I don't think that's the same as being bought.
So it comes down to your own justification in your head.
But what being bought is.
Can I give an example?
Of what you're doing. Because what you're doing is you have looked at this person and you believe in what they're saying. You believe in the cause and you do not want to fight them. And yet you're working for them and you are earning some money, all right? To you, you are supporting a cause that you justly believe in. To the rest of us, we don't know.
Then let's fix that.
We think because I've been bought. And that's why I said, you know what, it's a perception issue. Being bought is a perception issue. So when someone tells me I don't have a price, money no higher.
I don't think everybody has a price. I don't think.
Thank you, Janet.
I feel like Eric and Mara.
Thank you, Janet.
The price changes, but everybody has a price.
And
the price is not always monetary as well. Don't always think of it as money.
What will it take for you to do this?
Can I give an
My
example?
personal conviction, that is something.
Can I give an example of being bought or selling yourself? I remember even as his buddy was here, as before the broad-based government, right? The amount of spews and what people said about the other team and the language that they used was completely, of course, not right. And it was actually like, wow, grown men are talking like this. What example are you showing to us kids? And then as soon as the broad-based government came in, you're like, hey, it's you who said that.
Yes.
And then now that's being bought and that's being with no shame at all.
It's being convinced. So do you think C.S. Badi, for example,
that's
was
not
bought?
being convinced. I think he was offered.
By being co-opted into the broad-based government and sitting in the National Treasury and being told, okay, here, do it. All right?
Yeah.
So was he bought?
Yes.
All right. I have we'll not disagree. We'll not agree on the
modalities of being bought.
But integrity for anyone in the public space, especially since July and June, actually has been a big question. We've lost trust in a lot of people.
So much.
We've gained trust in others. I won't name names, but we know who comes to mind immediately, right? What informs what to you is integrity, right? And how do you make sure that through all of this, integrity is kept? And should the public decide we've cancelled Shallet because we disagree with this and that, what next? Because we live in a cancel, everything is like this.
Cancel culture.
I actually don't like cancel culture as much because someone can actually make one mistake and then, oops, cancel culture. And I don't know, it doesn't just sit right with me about cancel culture a lot of times. And even the person we are thinking of, sometimes I'm usually just like, okay, guys, he decided to take that route. That's him. Sawa sawa, wacha ende. If he sees that's his path, even if we feel betrayed and we feel like
he has personal conviction.
and he feel that I was just like, okay, sir, you go on your own, but Kenyans are not feeling well about that, and their hearts are not hawasikii vizuri kuhusu hiyo. It's okay because I don't we can't really convince him that much or those people that much on our own conviction. If they decided to go that way, that's cool. Like even say somebody who was here, he decided to join the broad-based government. That's him. That's fine. The thing with cancel culture, I don't really like it, but does that mean that we don't talk about it? No. Does that mean and say, oh wait, why were you before elections speaking like this, and then now you've changed your narrative when you soon enter into government? I think now you're like, now you don't have any line of integrity, because as soon as something is offered, you jump in with your entire self without even telling us, hey guys, I apologize for the words that I said or anything like that.
But I like the question that Mariam asked.
Yes.
And the direction that she was taking. It's about values and integrity, right? What defines your values and your integrity as a person?
Yeah.
Right? What is it that we can say these are values?
I'm going to repeat that. This is again my value and my identity, because I believe you have to know your identity first before anything else, because anything can take you from anywhere to nowhere. My identity, first of all, is found in Christ and Christ himself first. That I will never be apologetic for. And if anything goes beyond what my scripture tells me, then that is out of bounds of my integrity. Absolutely. If someone tells me, Shallet, I'm going to give you 5 million for you to speak ill of someone else, or for you to take this money out of the education fund or something like that, then how am I serving Christ well? And in Kenya, we are 85% Christian, just by name. But how many Christians are standing? Actually, if I was ever getting into any position of parliament to become an MP, one particular bill I would introduce is you cannot speak on the pulpit of this nation.
Watakuleta sheria hiyo.
Nitaleta hivyo for real. When you're not nitaleta hiyo because people are you're taking on the pulpit as a politician, and we know what you've done, sir.
Yeah. I think I want to come back to that later because I think it's a very interesting conversation around faith and activism. A lot of people feel like the two can't go hand in hand when I think if you read holy books, a lot of the people were actually radical changers. Jesus was, you know what I mean? So it's a very interesting thing. Faith is coming up a lot by then activism globally. And people struggle to reconcile the two when actually I think the two can live together. But you also want Kenyans to take up the responsibility to do something. You talked to fellow Kenyans. There's a video we want to share. Then we can come back and talk about how people can also lend their voice.
This is a letter particularly to us, wananchi wa Kenya, sisi, mimi, kila mtu ambaye anatazama hivi na ni Mkenya. This is a letter to us, the citizens of the Republic of Kenya. Now, I know most of us want accountability, end of corruption, and dignity in itself from the highest offices, the government, and that's particularly a good thing to look forward to from your government. But I want us to look inside, introspective. Si tuna demand, tunataka accountability, tunataka corruption iishe, but deep down in our homes tukienda nyumbani, do we actually apply the same principles that we put outside for the expectation? I want us to look at the things that I will list down and say, mimi nafanyanga hivyo au mimi sifanyanga hivyo. Yes, corruption is such an evil tool that has been used since time immemorial, since we got independence. But also, we use corruption in itself for our own benefit. Number one, have you ever simamishwa na polisi kwa gari ukapeana bribe because that's the easier route and you are on the wrong? Ukapeana bribe, you're on the wrong so that you don't go to court. That's corruption. If you're using fake permits for your businesses, that's corruption. If any way you're trying to evade tax in the wrong way, that's still corruption. Then how are we expecting accountability from the top while in fact ourselves, in our innate nature, we're the most corrupt individuals ourselves? Then come 2027 when you're saying we need a new leader, a new regime, a new freshness, smell.
Shallet Kibet, we have with us, and what you're talking about is a self-audit. Self-auditing, you have to call yourself to a meeting. There's a lot of people who resonate with what you're saying, Shallet. I think a lot of Kenyans are celebrating your agency. Who do we have here? We have Agola. Shallet, nice one. Somebody else here is saying, hey, Shallet, she will fix this nation. Brilliant show. So there's a lot of feedback of people we're waiting for Shallet. She's an amazing girl fixing the nation on the show. Shallet has a true burden for this country. Her confidence is on another level. That's Moses Sapunyo. So I think people are leaning into the fact that courage is contagious. It should be, anyway. So how can people hold themselves to account, Shallet? You challenge, you said, come on, bribe, don't get into that. Sometimes you feel like doing the right thing in this country is almost impossible. So where does one start? How do you begin to say, this is the last day I'm going to lean into a broken system, and in fact, I'm going to begin to build the system that I want? What are the 1, 2, 3 ways that Kenyans can begin that self-audit and playing a part in fixing the nation?
So number one is, there's no one else who's waiting for you to fix your nation unless you. So you don't wait on Shallet, you don't wait on Janet, you don't wait on Mariam or Eric to fix your nation for you. It's just you. There's no any other person who will be born as Shallet to fix it again unless it's you. So even when you're sitting in just minute things, even in the matatu and it's full and you're being added as ambassador, why are you sitting there? mbona unakaa hapo? Why not wait for the other matatu then?
Janet, unajua sambaza ni nini? Eric, unajua?
Oh, sorry. It's a thing that they put.
When they want to make
I don't know if they
two
put
chairs
nowadays.
into three.
Yeah.
And they add
Or
like a
if you're
plank of
sque-
wood.
It keeps changing.
Mariam, it was very kind of you to check in. It's like, are we floating?
I was making sure we're
At the
all,
time,
we're
it
all
used to be called
together.
a joint.
Yeah.
Oh, it used to be called a joint.
I could argue Mkenya Tasema, but I'm late. I have things to do. I have places to be. So you're saying it takes time to adjust.
Yes, it takes time to adjust. Because what's the difference between a politician with big guzzler passing around and saying, "Mimi nachelewa airport"? What's the difference with that? Same what's up. It's just that, I mean, the matatu and you're in a bigger car. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in an accountability era, and it's
Yes.
frightening and inspiring because
Yes.
it's a global. Yeah, it's like the era of receipts.
Yeah, actually.
You almost feel
Pulling
like
all
saying
the-
hizi
Yeah,
mizangu
hizi
before
mizangu. Yeah.
before they're brought out. But I do agree because I mean I think I've been grappling with self-audit. Last year I was just like, self-audit yourself. Again, it happened around June 25th. I've enjoyed proximity to things. You enjoy proximity to power and rooms. And then you sit down and ask yourself, okay, it's not like you're discounting it, but you have to pick a side that's on the right side of history.
Yes.
So the self-audit started and it's
Yes.
still going on.
Yes.
And I keep telling people it's a little bit uncomfortable, but you make one little audit a day. You'll mess up tomorrow, check yourself and be like, okay, maybe next time I'll be more resilient to giving that bribe.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's easier said than done. I
Yes.
don't know how it falls with you guys,
Yeah.
Mariam and Eric, just that whole thing because it starts with self-auditing before you
Yeah.
contribute to a healthier society.
Yes, yes.
True.
Hapo kwa easier said than done. Completely
Hapo ndio
agree.
umekaa.
Ni mental
I agree,
push-ups.
but it's like a muscle. You build it, gain strength. So when you do it the hard way once, twice, 3 times, it gets easier every subsequent day. And maybe that's something we need to practice. It's hard to not give the bribe now.
Yeah.
And to go to court and to have to waste a whole day and to na. But let me do the hard. Let me choose the hard until it becomes easy and now
Choose
life.
your hard.
Yeah.
Sambaza
yes.
me that one.
The right thing is hard. The good thing
Yes.
is hard. Choose your hard.
I want to give just a simple hack to Kenyans. So for me, if I enter somewhere or I go somewhere and someone says, do this for me, naambia unajua sheria inakwata hiyo. When people hear sheria, they're like, who are you? Are you NIS? Who is you?
Kwani wewe ni sheria?
And they respect you so much. They're like, okay, huyu do you to pay respect. So if
Hawa ni wale.
exactly. So if you're watching this and if you're a Kenyan and you want to start accountability as soon as now or today evening when you're going home, just go with the constitution in your mind. Look for an article. It doesn't have to be something big, but just look for something like, wait, constitution, I say we need to do this. The constitution, like, carry yourself with confidence and say, this is wrong and I believe this is right. There's one time we were traveling and we were stopped. We were, I think, around Salga. And the police officer said, tupeka kitu. And we said, our God doesn't allow bribes. And it's against just the laws of Christianity. And he was like, I've never seen such. Go, we bless your heart. And yes, use that, guys. Yeah.
There's two sides to it. And I agree. I mean, we've got to start doing the right things. And that's why part of fixing comes in. You know that the system is rigged to make you do those
that.
things.
Yes.
Okay?
True.
The system is rigged. The other day we were having a conversation on social media as well on bribery.
Yeah.
And people were, coming out and talking about the levels of bribery that they have to go through.
Imagine.
Somebody talked about how her brother, who was 13 years old, was picked up by cops, right, in Nairobi, in Mathare, in the middle of at night, just cops doing patrol, and then they grabbed this kid, twende ndani. He was in Form 2 then. And the following day, the cops were asking for 3K. They could not afford the 3K. He went to court. He was charged. And he was charged with some, robbery issues. He went into prison. They could not raise the 3,000 shillings bribe. They could not afford to hire a lawyer for him. He went to prison. He came out of prison at the age of 19. He's coming out and saying, you know what? I was innocent. I was sent to prison innocently. I cannot go back to school. I was in Form 2. My colleagues have finished school. So you see that? Now, you tell me, if you could afford to actually get your brother out, and it's 3,000 shillings, you'd do it.
Absolutely.
So the system is rigged. We've got to fight the system.
Right.
But at the same time also, as we say,
Agreed.
I want to do the right
Agreed.
thing. And the right thing here was, if the cop was doing the right thing and saying, I am
Yes.
not going to ask for a bribe, I arrested this kid. Tell me what you are doing outside. Is anybody else here who can come and corroborate that this kid is a good kid?
Yes.
Then let the kid go back home.
That's true.
So if the cop was doing the right thing, if the neighbors, community did the right thing and came out and said, no, you guys, you got the wrong person.
Yeah.
It would be a different
This
scenario.
boy would not have.
I know we're just coming to the part where we have to wind up. So we have to quickly say, thank you to you. I know we'll hear from Mariam in just a minute. But thank you very much, Shallet. And I really hope that your faith and your advocacy never waver. Just pray on it, because it also comes with persecution. That's just part of it. But thank you for just shining your light on us and everyone else. And here's to self-auditing, Eric.
I love it.
Mariam,
Here's to self-auditing.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Shallet. And again, like she said, you're doing amazing work and keep at it, keep at it. It's the work that needs doing, the work that we're all attempting. We have to wrap up, but just before that, guys, when I came in, and you will see this consistently, I'm a yogurt girl. I have to eat breakfast. I need something fiber-filled. And even if this show started at 3, guys, at 2 a.m., I would have my yogurt and my oats and what I need to do. And Delamere is a personal fave for me.
How do you like it? Flavored or
So I do a little
natural?
of a mix. That's how you know you're trying to be a better, healthier human. So I used to do flavored. Now I do natural yogurt and a little bit of like a vanilla to do some sweetness. But I have been going through the Delamere flavors, and I am looking for a favorite, but I don't want to sway anyone's opinion. So I'm asking that as we come back tomorrow, the two of you please have a Delamere flavor of yogurt that you love.
Delamere.
Yeah, please.
Say less.
Say less.
I got you.
Wow. Well, this has been incredible. Incredible. I think you're going to hear from us throughout. We're going to continue sharing, fixing our nation together. We're fix with us. Understand we're evolving as a set, as a people, as a nation. Sustain the evolution of fixing the nation. Janet Bogwa, Eric Latif, Mariam Bishar, thank you so much. We're crossing over to Winnie, the beautiful, lovely Winnie, who is going to take over for the next couple of hours right here on Nation. So thank you so much. Please continue talking to us on social media. The show isn't over. Winnie, say hi to us. The people want to hear your lovely voice before we cross over to you. Winnie.
All right. Thank you very much, Janet. And of course, what an insightful call.